Hey guys, I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Hero and Airsoft Team Kilo23. Today I have the review of the Smith & Wesson M&P M4 Carbine. Now overall, the M&P M4 is about middle of the road as far as quality of M4s goes. It's pretty good, it's got a good range, a pretty good FPS out of the box. Okay rate of fire, and it comes with everything you really need to get started playing Airsoft. Additionally, the black colored receiver is full metal, so it gives the gun a pretty good weight, about 7 or 8 pounds. It's got a good texture on the handguard and the stock. There is a little bit of wiggle here in the handguard, as well as the stock. That's kind of expected for most middle-of-the-road M4. Now, let's get this gun down on the table and check it out. The Smith & Wesson M&P M4 is going to come with quite a bit when you pull it out of the box. The gun will include an instruction manual. This goes over everything you need to know about using the gun and keeping it clean and safe. A 9.6 volt 1200 milliamp hour nickel metal hydride battery. A standard wall charger with a mini type Tamiya connector. A 300 round high capacity magazine. A small bag of .2 gram rounds. These are not the greatest quality. I recommend you stick with higher grade ammo. As well as an Allen key and a screwdriver to work on the gun. The gun will of course come with a cleaning rod to clean your barrel, etc. and unjam it, just like every other AEG. Now externally, the rifle is just like any other M4 carbine, so if you've ever used one, you should be pretty familiar with it. The stock has a number of positions. You can retract it all the way out, and pretty much anywhere in between. It does wobble a little bit, but the stock itself has a pretty nice texture to it. It has a great texture on the back, so when you shoulder it, the stock is not going anywhere. It stays pretty firm against your shoulder. Moving up the gun a little bit, on the right side of the receiver, you have a handful of items here. You have the charging lever right here, the forward assist, which is non-functional but works on the real gun, the magazine release, and the hop-up adjustment here. To access the hop-up, you simply pull the charging lever back. That opens the dust port here, which is spring-loaded. You can easily adjust your hop-up in here, push it forward to turn it on, turn it back to turn it off. It's just like any other Tokyo Marui style hop-up. Just above that you have your carry handle. Rear sight is adjustable for windage and elevation. It also has 2 PEEP apertures, one large for close range, one small for long range. There's also a small hole on top here, so if you want to mount a carry handle rail mount or some sort of scope that's meant for a carry handle, you're welcome to. The carry handle is removable. Just unscrew these little 2 knobs here, lift it off. The rail on top is numbered, so you can mount other optics on here, dot sights, scopes, magnifiers, whatever you want, and it looks pretty good when you do. Also, the mag catch on the right side of the weapon is realistic to the real one. It does not have a small screw in there that you have to take out. Also, on the real M4 carbine, the selector notch here is going to move when you move the selector, but on the Airsoft one, it is non-functional. Now onto the left side of the receiver, you have your selector switch here just above the pistol grip. Goes to safe, semi, and full auto. Clicks into place pretty nicely. You can see all the trades here are etched in. You have your Smith & Wesson M&P logo here, which is pretty nice. On the opposite side of the receiver, you have a much larger M&P logo. On the left side of the receiver, once again, you also have your bolt catch here, which sticks out quite a bit for an Airsoft version. It does not do anything, it's just for show. It does wobble around a little bit. You also have this large sticker here. This talks about the gun being a 6mm airsoft gun, safety precautions, things like that. To install the magazine, simply get your mag, pop it in until it clicks into place. Not too much wobble in there, which is pretty nice. To release it, simply press the button and pull the magazine out. Now if the mag is loaded, there are going to be a few rounds that fall out of the hop-up right here. To use your high capacity magazine, simply open the trap door in the back, slides forward, put all your ammo in here, close it, and wind it on the bottom. Your ammo is going to feed up through the tube in the front here and load up into the gun. Moving up the gun a little bit, you have the handguard of the weapon, which is where the battery is going to be stored. It does wobble around a little bit, so you might want to tighten all this down once you get the gun. To install the battery, simply pull the D-ring down and pull the lower portion of the handguard away from the weapon. You have a mini type Tamiya connector here, as well as the fuse box. Now this handguard is a little smaller than most M4 handguards, so it barely fits the 9.6 volt mini type battery that comes with it. I really recommend getting an 8.4 volt mini type battery or a 9.6 volt nunchuck type battery. Those tend to fit in here a little better. Just in front of that we have the front sight. You can adjust it for elevation and that's all. Strangely enough, it does not come with a front sling loop, so I don't know where that got lost at. Finally, the gun does come with a pretty large orange tip. It's all plastic, so if you want to remove it you can. It is glued on, but I really recommend you leave it in place for law enforcement purposes. Now, what's the fun in having an M4 carbine unless you're going to put some accessories on it? We're going to be using an M203 grenade launcher, licensed by Colt. Now, this is the long type M203 grenade launcher. It does come with a quick detach front here, and this section slides onto the barrel. So literally this thing can just slide onto your barrel, clip it in place. It only takes about 5 to 10 seconds to install. Pretty good. The launcher itself does have a pretty big orange tip. I'd imagine you could take this off and it won't really matter much, but you probably want to leave it on just in case. Now, the launcher is going to include a couple other things. The first being a rail mount, so instead of mounting onto the barrel, it can mount onto an RIS rail mount. Of course, it'll come with an instruction manual, tells you how to use it and how to be safe with it, and a single gas-powered shell. It does take green gas. You have to put it in through the front here. Now, to load these things, you need to push ammo down in these little holes. There are 6 holes that hold 3 rounds apiece, so it's about a 20 or 25 round shell. Now, it's hard to chrono these, but they usually shoot around 200 to 300 feet per second, depending on how many rounds you have in there and what kind of gas you're using. The way the grenade launcher operates is you push this grenade shell into the weapon. It locks in there. It does not actually fire the entire shell. It only fires the ammo out of it. So it's like a giant shotgun. That's done by when you pull the trigger, it presses this and all the gas is released. It's pretty loud. Now, I found that when working with the shell, I had to actually disassemble it each time I used it to reset the mechanism inside. You simply unscrew this entire unit and reset the bearing system in there. It's pretty easy. It really does take no more than 30 seconds, but it does kind of get to be a pain over time when you do this 4 or 5 times during a game. Now let's go ahead and chrono the Smith & Wesson M&P M4 carbine with .25 gram rounds. Looks like the gun is shooting about 300 feet per second with .25s. It's going to shoot about 340 feet per second with .2s. Now let's check the rate of fire. Gun's getting about 11 or 12 rounds a second on the stock 9.6 volt battery. Alright, let's go ahead and test the range and accuracy of the Smith & Wesson M&P M4. Starting at 50 feet, then we'll move out to 100 feet and 150 feet after that. Obviously at 50 feet, you're gonna hit your target every time. Really good accuracy. The Smith & Wesson M&P M4 at 100 feet. At 100 feet, the gun's accuracy is still excellent. You're going to hit your target pretty much every time. Finally, the Smith & Wesson M&P M4 at 150 feet. With that, you can really see that the M&P's accuracy and range is really limited to about 150 feet at most. After that, it really starts to lose accuracy, range, velocity, all that stuff. You really want to limit this gun's use to 120 feet and below. So, what's an M4 without accessories? I went ahead and slapped an M203 grenade launcher, licensed by Colt, on this M4. Let's put a few shells through it and see what we can do. To open the grenade tube, simply press the button on the left side, slide it forward, and pop your shell in and smack it back. After that, you can pull the trigger. Alright, I'm going to use a 20 round green gas powered shell. Alright, but what fun is it unless we test it on our teammate? The M203 grenade launcher on, yeah, you guessed it, camo from Airsoft Team Kilo23. Overall, the Smith & Wesson M&P M4 Carbine is a pretty good beginner's gun. For $250 at AirsoftThero.com, it's an alright deal. Thanks for watching, guys. I'm Prodigy from Airsoft Hero and Airsoft Team Kilo23. Go be the Airsoft Hero on your field.